Jesus Christ, the bed's naked. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Hey. Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Payne, and welcome to another anime review video. I've had this script ready for like the past couple of days. I honestly don't know what to say for the beginning. In related to the show, I don't know what to say, but in general, I think really all I gotta say is that for the past few days, I've had nothing but work and school to prepare for. So really, this is just gonna be a reminder. I am still going to be posting videos. It's just that in the coming days, these videos are going to be the last thing I'm going to think about because I'm going to be working on stuff from, especially school-related stuff, whether it's sports or just, you know, getting ready. Because I know some people who've already started school in like other parts of the country, and I know that some of you guys who are watching right now have already started school. I'm in that part of the country where we haven't started school yet, so you know I'm trying to get that ready, and you know, I've been slacking a little bit, especially because I've been making these. But I'm gonna get right back into it. And in terms of the show, I can say this: this is one of the most ridiculous shows I've ever seen. Really, basically, what this show is that if you imagine a show that has guns, explosions, tons of them, and death, lots of it, but you combine it with like a slice of life comedy aspect. Two things that I never thought would ever combine together, let alone if they did combine together, would work pretty well. So I decided to take a crack on this show, and really the only way I can explain why it's ridiculous is if I start the review. So here is the one, the only, oh god, I've had trouble saying this since I started writing the script, Sabagebu. I'm just gonna go with that. Sabagebu, also known as Sabagebu Survival Game Club, is a dark comedy, slice of life, and military anime that was directed by Masahiko Ohta, who also directed some very well-known slice of life shows like Yuru Yuri, Hamoto Umaru-chan, and most recently Gabriel Dropout. It was written by Takashi Aoshima, who was the screenwriter for all those shows as well, and it was made by Studio Perriot, who was known for making shows like Bleach, Tokyo Ghoul, and most notably, especially two guys that I know who are watching this that know me from school, Naruto. It aired in the summer of 2014 and consisted of 12 episodes plus 6 OVAs. It started off as a manga that produced 9 volumes from 2010 to January of 2017, and it follows a new transfer student named Momika, or Momo for short, as she joins the survival game club at her new school. A club full of girls that compete with other survival game clubs from other schools in a match with airsoft guns. That's just scratching the surface, but that's actually the perfect time for me to tell you that, yeah, there's going to be spoilers in this video. I'm not going to make it like the Yuki Nagato video where I just said that there are going to be spoilers, but I couldn't find an ending to it. I am going to put a time card up for anyone who wants to watch it, because this may actually just prove what my opinion of the show is already. I actually want people to watch this show, regardless if they like anime or not. This is one of those shows that I want people to watch, alright? It's not like, I'm sorry for bringing this up again, Evangelion, where, you know, I like the show, but, you know, it's for people who really are into the show or into the subgenre. No, I suggest people who don't even watch anime should watch this. This is funny as hell, and I'm gonna tell you why. Wait, where was I? Oh, right. Point is, there's gonna be spoilers. You've been warned. Let's go. Of course, before I get into why the show is over the top, I gotta mention the rest of the characters. I'm gonna try and do it by order. I might get them off, but I don't think it matters. The first character is Mio, who is the president of the Survival Game Club, and the girl who coerced Momoko into joining the club, and due to her being held back a year due to misconduct, or at least in the anime it's misconduct, in the manga it said she didn't have that many credits, but regardless she got held back, and it was due to that she was able to get a hold of airsoft guns that the rest of the club couldn't have. Next there is Maya, who also works part-time as a gravure model. For anyone who doesn't know what a gravure model is, it is a model that is shown on magazines and DVDs, primarily aimed towards men, in Japan especially, and is a topic of one of a few running jokes in the show where during a survival game match, she would always die first. More information on why I put air quotes there later in the video. Next there is Aurora, who is the one character who looks sweet and innocent, but is actually feared among her peers, and the thing with her is that as Momika gets used to being in the club, Aurora becomes masochistic. Basically, she becomes just freaking, she has a crush on her, basically. And it slowly turns into another running gag in the show where she would just do all this crazy stuff. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil that part, even though I will spoil some of it. And the final main character is Kaio, aka Rei Ayanami clone number 7613, and she is the shy one, and she is also the club treasurer. It's later revealed as the series goes on that she joined the club partly because she can cosplay, as apparently the club is about appearances, as she often cosplays, of all people, Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 3. I think that was pretty cool during the series, along with a lot of ghillie suits. Like, you know what ghillie suits are. You play Call of Duty, people would wear them to try and blend in. She would just wear these like weird ass ghillie suits, and it would make no sense at all, but you just didn't really have a reason to complain. In addition to the main cast, there's also a fair number of side characters that were really funny. We're gonna start with Platy, who is the club pet. Basically, to make it simple, he is the anime version of Perry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, he can do shit. Except the only difference is that everyone knows Platy can do this shit. Next there is Yayoi. I think that's how you say her name. She is the student council president who originally tried to shut down the survival game club because the club had been causing the school like a lot of damage and been costing them a lot of money because they would damage a lot of things, and it was the school's fault technically because it's part of the school. But eventually stops that as she develops a crush on, of all people, Mio, albeit not as bad as what Aurora has towards Momika, but, you know, unlike Aurora going towards Momika, that plotline never really saw the light of day. The next one is this creepy, overweight dude that we see right in the middle of the series. We don't even know his name. We only know him by his gamer tag, and his gamer tag is, I shit you not, fried chicken lemon. That is not a joke at all. I know that one of the things that I'm trying to go towards is to be entertaining, and one of the things I gotta do is I gotta try to make some shit up. I don't need to make some shit up. This is why I love reviewing these shows. Really what happened is that he is introduced midway through the series as a pro gamer. He was playing in an arcade game like similar to like House of the Dead, where you would have a gun and you would shoot it at the screen. He was facing off against Momika, and Momika, I don't know if I mentioned this already, she is like the most accurate shooter in the entire club. And so she would take out everyone, and she ends up beating Fried Chicken Lemon, not only by score-wise, but technically Momika just straight up cheated and just became just like a sore loser because she knew she was losing. Again, more on her attitude later, because I have a lot of stuff to talk about with that. But the final character is definitely my favorite, and it's Kazu Eve, who is Momika's mother. And here is why. Not only does she just accept the fact that her daughter is in a club where the members have airsoft guns and shoot other people with said airsoft guns, she apparently is the most skilled gunfighter in the entire series, and with no rhyme or reason. She just is. There's no explanation, no backstory, no nothing. She just shows up one day, taking out like everyone in the survival game club in one scene, and it was revealed that she was just there just to drop off her lunch. I'm sorry for spoiling it, but I want to mention it. It's so fucking ridiculous. I mean, she's the last person you expect to be in this situation. It just adds to the fact that the show doesn't take itself seriously, and I love it. I really do. As well as the characters, the show itself also has its own ways to be obnoxious, and I think I should start with the fact that this show has a narrator. Now, okay, this is fairly common. For people who don't know, this is fairly common in anime for shows to have a narrator that can either give the viewer a sneak peek of the next episode, for anyone who watches that far, because I'm not anyone who watches that far, or be like the narrator on, let's just say, Pokemon, where he would show up at the beginning and the end of every episode. But this one goes a bit further, albeit not the most unique thing ever, and albeit that he's not the first one to do this, but it's still fun to watch, and that is that he breaks the fourth wall. Throughout the series, he's never afraid to expose and comment at length about multiple things, especially how horrible of a person Momika is underneath her innocent image, while at the same time he seems to praise her most horrible actions, as if he's like a sports announcer watching a masterful player in action. Now, for anyone who knows me very well, you could tell I can relate to that a lot. He also serves to defend the more fantastical or otherwise unreal nature of the plot, as he will often go on rants. Like, he will just straight up pause the episode and will go on rants in which he proclaims that either that the show itself is for entertainment and is not an actual portrayal of real-world survival games, all the while apologizing to the people who watched this thinking that it was a real-world survival game. That is next level breaking the fourth wall. I'm a huge fan of shows that break the fourth wall, like Deadpool. That's like the most famous example. This show, I don't know why this show hasn't got that much attention. I mean, I can see why. There were other shows that went on in the summer of 2014 that aired that were way more popular than this, but people need to watch this. This is really good. One example of what I mean is that every time the Survival Game Club would be in a match, and it would look like that one of the girls would get shot and killed, like one of the girls would get shot and blood will be coming out, the video would pause. Like, the episode would pause, it would turn to like a black, it was either like a black or white screen, or just the people would stop moving, just like Saved by the Bell. The narrator would explain after that to the viewer that the blood and death are all in the girl's imagination, and that the running joke of this is that this happens multiple times, as well as also piping in from time to time saying, you know, stuff about Momika, or basically anything, because anything goes at this point. Hell, I mean, not to spoil anything, the last episode is basically what happens when Michael Bay takes the helm for an anime. I mean, there's just nothing but explosions, gunfire, characters come back from past episodes, the platypus, Platy, is holding a minigun, you have crabs riding helicopters, I don't know, shit just happens. I stopped questioning it like midway through. I just straight up accepted it, I loved it. I mean, come on! A big point that got me interested in this show was that it wasn't only about survival games. With the show really making it emphasize that the anime would be about the club and their interest for survival, the anime has some episodes that stray away from that, and they bring up just new concepts right out of thin air. You get an episode where, sorry for spoilers, Momika gets a little too fat and has problems dieting. There's an episode where Maya, who tries to get over her dislikes of natto, and an episode about modeling, about Momika getting into a job of modeling. The show isn't focused on one main idea, and it does a great job of showing that. And while the other characters contribute their fair share to the proceedings, the main reason this show works is because of the main character, Momika. Why? Because she is just so impossible a character to sympathize with, to the point that she becomes extremely interesting. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that Momika is quietly the most vengeful, egotistical, greedy, backstabbing, self-serving, petty, narcissistic asshole you're ever gonna see in a show. And she's one of the very few people that you're gonna see that have this emotion in them. Nothing about her is kind, basically. She's not someone you'd ever want to be with in real life. And if this was a romantic drama, she'd be that character that will single-handedly ruin the series with forced conflict. Once Momika's behavior grounded me into the series, all that the writer, Takashi Aoshima, had to do was create short scenarios that exploited her, as well as the rest of the cast, for comedy and creativity. There's quite a few gags that don't really work. Again, there was one I mentioned where Momika went dieting. There was one where they went into the woods and there were people or things stalking them. And again, the one with the Yayoi, the school president thing, that, if you were going to ask me, went on twice as long as it should have. But each episode always has that one story that was really great, and it's paced quick enough so you don't stare at a skit for too long, trying to get a laugh out of it. In other words, no pun intended, Sabagebu and Takashi Aoshima took the shotgun approach to comedy. The punchlines get a little predictable as time goes on because it's pretty obvious after a while that someone's going to suffer by the time a skit ends, but it's done cleverly enough so much that it never really grows stale. Kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Everyone I know loves that show, except it's girls with guns in Japan, just the comedy is kind of the same. And even if the jokes don't satisfy you, at least you can't deny that the show has great action scenes. I haven't actually seen the fight choreography from Noah Zero, despite the praise for it that I keep seeing everywhere, but I'd be surprised to hear that it was of much higher quality than the scene where old people are in jeeps and they're shooting at the club members and that's better than most gun action we get in Hollywood these days. And I wrote this part down looking at the scene, and it reminded me of a scene in the show that I completely forgot about, and that in one episode, I shit you not, the narrator, God bless him, actually said that they were doing an homage to a mistake that's been seen in various Hollywood movies. What's that mistake, you ask? Well, what happens in the episode was that when someone who has a gun, especially a pistol, when there's no bullets in it, the slide would go back and would stay back on there. And the narrator said, oh, to the gun nuts out there who are upset over the fact that Momika's pistol doesn't slide back, this is actually an homage to many Hollywood movies, as they would make this same mistake. Regardless, in my opinion, regardless if they knew what they were talking about or not, the fact that they even went so far as to pay an homage to movies over here is still pretty cool in my book. And apart from that, there's not really much more I can say about this show, considering it's just a plotless comedy that never takes itself seriously. I do urge people to give it a shot, because I don't think it deserves the low amount of attention it received when it aired during the summer of 2014, because if you were to ask me, if you were going to ask me what show, or one show to think of when you talk about summer of 2014, it would definitely be Sword Art Online 2. That's what everyone was talking about because, you know, the first season had a lot of buzz. But just be aware, talking about Sabagebu now, just be aware that the first episode is a little rocky, and the second is when it starts to find its footing. But if you're not hooked by the third episode, then the rest of the series probably won't appeal to you. But again, I promise you, you will be hooked after the third episode when you start watching this. I definitely don't consider this to be one of the best slice-of-life anime in recent years, although I have been acting like it has. But it's definitely not the worst. And with that, I'm going to give Sabagebu Survival Game Club a respectable 8 out of 10. You know, I think it's pretty good. Thank you guys for watching my Sabagebu Survival Game Club review. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more anime review videos, damn it! Ah! My phone's at like 13%, I can't handle this. Thank you guys for watching my Sabagebu review video. If you like this, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more anime review videos, hit the subscribe button on the screen or down below as well. Also, if you want to see review videos that I've made, there's a couple on the screen, as well as more on my channel. And if you want to suggest any anime shows that I can review, leave them down in the comments below. And once again, my name is Payne, and we'll see you in the next video.